Well, hi guys. Paul here from PABrewNews. You've heard that quite a long time now. Uh, and now we're here. We're here for my. I don't know if I can put this like this before the camera falls over or not. I don't know. What's this? Okay. Well, you've heard hi guys, Paul here from PABrewNews quite a lot. In fact, this is my 1500th video. So there we go. 1500, the big 1500. I remember how excited and crazy it was when I hit my first. Cheers! Thank you very much. I remember when I hit my 50th and I was like, oh, this is a big milestone, you know what I mean? I couldn't believe I hit 100, you know what I mean? And of course, every milestone after that just, wow, I can't believe I'm still doing this. And, you know, I met great people while I was traveling this journey of beer. I started this channel just to be very PA centric, but then, you know, it has amassed to everything. But we still go PA every chance we got. That's right, PA Brew News, baby. We still have it, and we have more PA Brew News right over here to come. So, be that as it may, let's get into this one right now from Victory Brewing Company from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. This is their Earth and Flame. This is the bourbon barrel-aged Scotch ale. So, let's see what it actually says. I've had this since it was released, and it's just been chillin', millin' like a villain, okay? So right now we have a bourbon barrel-aged Scotch ale, smoked Scotch-style ale from Victory Brewing Company. The bottle on date here was the 13th of November, 2014. So there we go. Yay. And and it comes in at a session strength, at least, you know, of 11.7 alcohol by volume. So definitely an all-day, you know, easy drinker. That's good. Don't want to read anything about it. So hopefully it is good. It is good. It is a good beer to celebrate my 1500th video. So there we go. It's been real fun, guys, and I've expanded my channel a little bit doing painting and podcasts and stuff. Podcast is coming up tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this podcast. We're streaming live. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead. So it'll be a big one. Okay, so let's get this thing cracked open for my 1500th video. Not beer review video, because there's been more than one beer review per video and blah, blah, blah. But there, my little cage. And a cork and cage. What a good way to celebrate with a cork and cage. Hopefully it doesn't go blah, blah, blah. I kind of doubt it will, but... Oh, lovely little hiss there. Wow. Okay. Smells a little vinous, too, in a good way, though. Little barrel smoke, little cannon smoke on that one. Okay, and then use my Clarion River glass. So kind of east meets west. So this is the southeast. This is more to the northwest of northwest of Pennsylvania. Definitely check it out if you're on if you're heading out towards Ohio on 80 with the Clarion exit. Go up and check out Clarion River Brewing Company. Good stuff. All right, here we go. Listening to the Night of the Living Dead soundtrack that will be playing also tonight on our podcast. Shot in 1968 in Evans City, Pennsylvania. So there's so much Pennsylvania shit happening right now. It's amazing. PA Brew News, baby. There we go. Okay, up to the light, we have a mahogany, caramel, ruby hues just all over this glass. A little dark around the sides here, but a lot of the pinnacle of glass, a lot of mahogany, ruby hues kind of tapering around, a little caramel at the bottom. Okay, we have a little bit of an off-white, slightly tanned head, a little creamy tanned head. Of course, alcohol like sticking like a mofo to the side of the glass from that 11.7% alcohol by volume. Let us get the aroma. Woo-hoo. It's been a long time in the waiting for me to try this one. Cheers. There is a little bit of a vinous note, like a little bit of a sour cherry tone coming out of this. Probably from the age and things like that. Caramel peppery bourbon. A little sour cherry, almost like a sour mash, I guess you could say, with that kind of different, that little tonality of that sour cherry with that peppery bourbon. Because like a sour mash kind of bourbon. Maybe that's the kind of bourbon they actually put it in. Little figs and dates in there too. You have Brown sugar, caramel, molasses, that good stuff. A little treacle. Nice that mild, that peppery caramel in there too from that thing. I'm not pulling a lot of smoke though. Little walnut husk, little nutty qualities. The smokiness is that kind of like really burnt sugar, little of that treacle, molasses characters and stuff like that. And that walnut husk is very nice too. So let's get into this one. Cheers. It's a bit thin. It's a bit thin. It's wafting in that medium to upper side of a medium mouthfeel, but it has a nice little oily mouthfeel that kind of hangs around, lingers for quite a long time. Not extremely bombastic. Not a lot of flavors pounding my cheeks in here, but it is nice. It's a little bit of warming right here on the throat, giving you a sign of that 11.7, which is to be expected. Again, there's a sharpness of a little bit of a sour cherry tone. There is a little bit of a sharpness of that. Caramel, peppery bourbon. It's not as bold and rich and complex as some Scotch ales could be, or wee heavies, or whatever you want to call them. This is an imperial Scotch ale, but they didn't title it wee heavy. Not really pulling the smoke though. The smoke is kind of off. I'm not really getting smokiness, but char does. Like a nice char does kind of fade with time. The only thing that I'm really surprised is that these malt bases over 5 years didn't really get savory. It's still a dry beer. Little spiciness, little bit of a herbaceousness, just a hint of it in the back with that kind of muted copper coin, peppery spicy quality in the back, that drying quality. You get nuance of cherry, nuance of raisins, nuance of figs, nuance. Just the strange kind of prickly spiciness kind of overriding the palate. Reminds me of a soured beer. Not more of a sour mash kind of a tone, but the beer has gone off a little bit. You know, it's not holding that age properly. It's not being overcarbonated or going off in that. It just went a little bit, instead of that nice, rich caramel, figs, toffee, you know, like butterscotch, those big savory, sweet characters that I was hoping would be in this nice, decadent beer. You're getting more of that dark tonalities of burnt sugars and treacle, copper coin, roasted kind of walnut husk, those kind of qualities. And over that is playing this soft hint of a caramel peppery bourbon, but then that a little bit of a sour cherry tone that reminds me of some of the sour beers that I've had, sour Bruins and stuff like that, the old Bruins and things. So this beer is not probably as it was when it was bottled. Let's say that. It is nice though. It's a nice beer. It is a nice beer. If it was more sour, if it was more prickling with that kind of strange cherry tartness, I would be a little bit more put off. But for what it is, it's actually a very interesting drinking experience. And those caramel tones, those little fruit tones are there, so you are getting those. It's not bereft of those. They're still there. They're just a little bit more nuanced than I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit more bombastic. Yeah, it's a good beer. It's a good beer. I'm not having a problem drinking it. But for right now, let's see. Because putting it up against other bourbon barrel aged Scotch ales and stuff like that, you have to run the whole gambit of putting them up against some heavy hitters. And of course, there's going to be some sedimentation at the bottom of the bottle, mixing in with everything, all that goodness that has amassed over the 5 years that's dwelled in the cellar like a cellar dweller. The only problem is when we start getting a little bit of that more sedimentation in there, thickens it up, gives it a little bit more of a creamy body. It starts hiding those nuances. That sedimentation really does start hiding those nuances that you're depending on, because you're like, oh, nuance of this, nuance of that, and then it kind of coats it, and you're like, ah, damn. Ooh. So this much of the glass was really, really nuanced and tasty, and this much of the glass will be like, yep, 1 note, 3 notes, that kind of thing. Okay, so we're gonna say, honest review as always. The Earth and Flame from Victory Brewing Company from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, coming at 11.7 alcohol by volume, but 5 years of age. I'm going to give it like a 7. 7. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It can't compare to a lot of the other smoked beers, smoked Scotch ales that I've had. So, obviously you're comparing it to that. And because I'm not really getting a lot of nice... Well, let's actually read what it says. Yeah, let's use English for a little bit, okay? Let's pretend we can read. Okay, Earth and Flame was forged from the friendship of Victory Brewing Company and Earth Bread Plus Brewery. So there you go. With our shared passion for dark, flavorful ales, we saw a great opportunity to collaborate on a Scotch-styled ale. Savor the rich flavors that emerge from this dark depths of the limited edition brew. With hints of sweet winter desserts and dark fruits, peated smoked malts, and fine bourbon barrel aging smooth the intensity of this complex ale. Here's to great flavors, great friends, and great times. Cheers, Bill and Ron of Victory. Now, that sounds fantastic, but this is not as rich and complex and as dark and as intense as that says, sadly. But no, you definitely get a little bit of a little hint of spiciness in there. A little bit of those dark fruits are still raging around the glass, having a good time. A little that top. I'm not really getting that peated smoke. That peated smoke is not coming to the forefront. A little walnut husk from the barrel, peppery caramel bourbon. Something in the yeast and the aging process has probably brought that little bit of a sour cherry to light, which wasn't meant to be in there, but hey, it got in there. So anyway, for right now, with the age and everything that I'm experiencing, I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. It's still a fine beer. Definitely, if you see it, I don't know where you would find it, but if you see it randomly laying around, especially if you like that little twinge of sourness in your beers and stuff, you'll have a great time drinking it. And it's 11.7%, so haha, there you go. Anyway, this has been Paul from PABrewNews. Thank you for joining me for my 1500th beer review. And tonight at 7:30 p.m., we'll have the Maniacs Meet podcast coming up for you too. So anyway, until the next time we see each other, this has been Paul from PABrewNews. Cheers. Thanks so much to everybody and all the great friends that I've made doing this wonderful thing. And until the next time, cheers.